Hello everybody and welcome to round 8 of the 2020 GP4 Offline Championship. Obviously we're a little bit late on this, that's because of the GP2 race that happened thanks to some hardware issues on Flo's end, but we are live now. I am JW97 and I'm joined by the man who's only just come from GP2 commentary and he's also my arch nemesis, it's Ra.
Yeah, hello. Don't worry, Joe, I'll be nice.
Sound a bit shattered from that GP2 commentary.
Yes, it's because I crashed hard.
Anyway,
I'm in the
yeah.
hospital now.
Yeah. Anyway, we are here at Baku and we've got a dry practice session. So I think without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, just a reminder, the loading screen at Baku, it is usually quite a lengthy one. I would say that Yuri's computer is a lot faster than mine and Flo's. Not sure about Mirren's because we're not really sure about the specification of his computer and he's never had to use Baku. So that's that really. So it shouldn't take as long as Flo's, but it is still quite a lengthy one. So do be patient, will you guys, because it will load. It's not that the game has crashed. I can assure you of that. Although I do remember, was it last season or 2 seasons ago? This is when we encountered. It was last season. Yeah, last season we did have our first encounter with crash physics being corrupted. So hopefully that shouldn't be the case this time that we've come back here to Baku. I mean, judging from the test races, that didn't happen. So I don't think we'll have any crash physics problem this time. It's usually when it gets to the end of the loading bar that the crash physics usually crash. So, yeah, do be patient, guys. Baku is quite a lengthy loading screen, but it will eventually load. I do assure you. So, just looking around, just checking to see if there's any test drivers in action whilst we wait as the loading bar has got to the end. No, there isn't. So, and there wasn't any requested ones either. But here we are then in the garage. And just to remind you guys as well that the tyres we're using is the hard tyres. Now, I do believe there was meant to be a certain livery for someone, but the livery arrived pretty late. So that's why it's not on the car at the moment. So, don't know if that will be fitted in time for quali or not, but that's that really. So, okay, so just a livery update for one of the teams, but it should be done for qualifying because it did arrive quite a little bit late. So anyway, as mentioned, the tyres we're using here are the hard tyres, and of course this is the first race after the Indy 500, so pretty much after this it's just a sprint to the finish. Now, of course, speaking of future OC, of course, obviously the news for this week, of course, is that this Sunday, after much speculation, the brand new 11th team will finally get revealed to the public. It's been something that a lot of us have been keeping a secret for the last few months, but finally we are going to reveal it to you this Sunday at 7 PM GMT. Hopefully after the BTCC race, should Mirren's problems get sorted out with that mod. Of course, Mirren will be making his streaming debut this Thursday via Formula E, so do be on the lookout for that one. And because he's got no problems with that one, with that mod, thankfully. So now looking at Daniel Fraser, who's the first car out on the racetrack. Now, I should point out as well as obviously the week after, because I don't think we've mentioned it anywhere apart from GP2 streaming chat. But the week after, the Sunday after the 11th team gets revealed, of course, is when the 2021 sign-ups officially open. And who knows, really, could this be the biggest silly season we've had in a long time due to the fantasy era? Who knows, really. But it should be quite an interesting one indeed, especially with that brand new 11th team. Who that 11th team will be, you'll have to find out this Sunday. So, as Daniel Fraser now then makes his way through into the left-hander, as he will now make his way towards the final 2 turns to start his first lap of practice. Of course, it's a half-an-hour practice session, and then, of course, afterwards we'll have the qualifying session, where hopefully we'll see that livery update for one of the teams. Not 100% sure which team it is. I believe it was Williams, if I'm not mistaken, but that's that, really. And, yeah, it's for tomorrow instead. Okay, right, so it won't be done for qualifying instead, it'll be for tomorrow. So, anyway, Daniel Fraser going around the first corner. Obviously, Fraser, fair to say, compared to the 2 Haas teammates, it has, I'd say that Fraser's probably had the better season compared to Kirby so far.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, he had a strong showing in Indy 500. Will he do it during his F1 career? We don't know.
Indeed. Now, apparently, according to Rob and Ra, they apparently know what the 11th team is via Flow, but they're not telling. So hopefully, they can keep it a secret. So obviously, Rob's keeping it his mouth shut, according to the stream chat.
Wait. I'm on the stream now. But Flo doesn't know the 11th team. You have been misinformed.
Either that, or we had a look on the premiere that's scheduled on, because he obviously has access to the YT channel, of course. He might have looked at all the recommended thumbnails that are there. I don't know. Either that, or he's misguided Rob or Row. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Otherwise, we'll just keep on going on and on and on. Meanwhile, that Mercedes is getting quite close to Daniel Fraser at the moment. That Mercedes looks like Franco Lopez, because it looks like the number one car. Yeah, salted Mercedes, the pink Mercedes. Obviously, as you've seen in real life, Mercedes are launching 8 days after Aston Martin, and the jokes have been Mercedes have done that tactically to ensure that Aston Martin don't copy off them. So we'll see if that works. But anyway, first laps on the board. Fraser did a 1:39.1. Lopez went to the top. Then it was Roke. It looks like Roke actually did that legitimately, in fact, because I don't think Lopez did get held up too much there by Fraser. But the first 3 times were on the board. Videri goes to 4th. Quickly beaten by Griffiths there. He goes into P4 himself there in the Williams. Amar Khan is currently in 2nd place. The man is on a roll at the moment, but surprisingly not the championship leader after what happened in Germany and Portugal, of course. Sontag 4th, a good result for him so far. Gomez in 6th as we now look at Chris Chatfield in the AlphaTauri. It's fair to say that the last couple of races, Chatfield has been on a roll compared to his teammate, scoring in the last 2 races in Spain and Monaco, whereas Kupok has been languishing just outside the points. But he'll be hoping to try and get some points in this race, of course, as Fraser's already coming back into the pits as well. Byrne goes into 3rd, but that's quickly beaten by Roland Motrin. In fact,
mistake.
Byrne, just made a mistake going through into turn 1 there. I don't know if that was contact with Martinez, because he was overtaking him, actually. Let's have a look.
Actually, it is contact. Yep.
Yes, it was contact. It was just a slight little tap there from Rosetta Martinez, who actually went into, well, it was 11th, but now it's down to 14th. Galloway goes into 3rd. Roberto Garber 11th. Josie Willows 12th. Made that 13th because Chatfield's gone to 12th. Made that 13th because Kupok has gone up to 11th position. Only 1 car left to set a lap, and it's already been done. That's Amelia Wilson, who slots into last position. So far, Roke at the top from Carr in 2nd and Galloway in 3rd position at this point in time. Anyway, as we now look at Fraser, who's just coming around the final few turns, as Galloway did he just overtake the Ferrari there? I think he might have done, actually. I think he might have just overtaken the Ferrari there going through into turn number 3. And that Ferrari being Roberto Gamba. But it's fair to say it's been a tale of 2 halves for Ferrari. Of course, they've gone backwards this season, fair to say, but it seems that Laura Chung just seems to be getting a rough of bad luck at the moment and seems to be getting involved in a lot of crashes. And we saw last time out in Monaco, she made exactly the same mistake as she did in 2019, where she crashed out at the exit of Casino.
Yeah, things are not going her way at all. Hopefully, it can be a turning point in Azerbaijan, but it's pretty much a doubt knowing that the straight line. But then again, you never know what can happen. But yeah, she is in 9th at the moment.
It depends really how you set up the car as well, because we know, of course, that they do have individual setups. It was actually discovered by somebody on Grand Prix Games that that is actually the case. But anyway, we're now running on board with Rosetta Martinez, and probably one of the most unluckiest drivers this season, it's fair to say. Although in the last race, he did actually finish in Monaco, albeit in last position. But yeah, it's fair to say that Martinez has had a lot of bad luck this season, because I would say when you compare both Martinez and Wilson, they have been fairly equal this season. I would say that Wilson has had slightly better performances, but not by much.
Yeah, indeed, as Chatfield goes up to 12th and Kupok up to 9th.
Indeed so. Roke was up on his personal best, but it's not going to matter because he's coming back into the pits this lap, so it's not going to really matter if he's up on his 1st and 2nd sector. Is he still up in the 2nd sector, just for clarity? Yeah, he is, but again, doesn't really matter. He's coming into the pits this lap. And of course, we are on the hard tyres. Now, it all really depends on the degradation with the hard tyres, because you don't really know what you can get with them. If it's not as degradable, then you'd hope to be on the one-stop around here, and we've seen in the past that one-stop strategies can work around here at Azerbaijan. Just ask Amar Khan a couple of times. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But if the degradation is quite close to what it would be close to where the medium tyre would be, but not quite medium tyre, if you get what I mean, in terms of the wear range, then maybe the two-stop you could try and get away with it. But it's kind of really depends, really. But speaking of Armakar, he is determined to try and get his crown back here at Azerbaijan, because, of course, the first 3 seasons that we came here to Baku, he won them, of course. But then, of course, he got that got broken by the man we're riding on board with, Franco Lopez. But given the form that Car is currently on this season, I bet he's determined to get that King of Baku crown back.
Yep, indeed. Because this is a teammate battle between Armakar and Franco Lopez. And as Evan Burns coming into the pits, he has a problem, as you can see. He has a puncture. Obviously, he's just about made it.
Indeed. We'll get back onto Car in a little bit, but yeah, Byrne has got a puncher there, and he's very lucky he found the pit situation. You did hear that he was actually slowing down a bit to the point where he could have been crawling to the point where he pulled over. It's his teammate, meanwhile, goes to the top of the timing sheets, Jake Galloway. So 137.393 now for Jake Galloway, as Chatfield and Roberto Gamba are able to improve. But yeah, not really ideal for Byrne with a puncher, but still up in 5th place at the moment. Renault so far having a pretty good season, it's fair to say. Lopez currently up on his personal best. But yeah, as we were saying there, Car, obviously a man desperate to get his crown back.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a battle between these two, it seems, but you never know what can happen. But yeah, he is really determined to get that crown back. Will he do it here? We'll see. Once again.
Indeed so. We will wait and see. Of course, if you asked China and Germany, it's fair to say that anything is really possible. As Armakar now then makes his way towards the final 2 turns. And he'll now make his way down the straight. As Lopez does improve, but only up into 4th position. His teammate, meanwhile, is not on an improvement. And Carr currently in 3rd, so currently 3-4 at the moment for the 2 Mercedes drivers, as Carl will soon cross the line. Gal currently being held up, though, by the Williams there. I think that's Jamie Griffiths he's being held up by. I believe that is the Dale Earnhardt helmet that's on there. So I do think that is Jamie Griffiths he's being held up by. Not really ideal for Miklos Gal, currently in 7th, although the last... I think the last 2 races he has been on the podium as Miklos Gal, so he has been kind of getting that better the rest status at the moment when it comes to who can be actually closest to the Mercedes. But so far Red Bull haven't really looked like they've been threatening Mercedes so much. I guess the closest they've been to threatening Mercedes was obviously in China, of course, but that didn't really materialise in the end.
Yeah, indeed. So as Lord Chung has gone up into 9th fastest at the moment.
Indeed so, as Amelia Wilson makes her way down the pit straight, and she'll be finishing her lap very soon. Currently in last, doesn't look like she's on an improvement though, so it looks like she's going to remain last for the moment. Of course, as mentioned a little bit earlier, we will be finding out Manna's replacements this Sunday, so something to keep an eye on. Maybe something that both Martinez and Wilson might want to keep an eye on as well, because of course, like we've seen in the past with both when Haas joined the series back in 2015, of course. After Caterham pulled out at the end of 2014, of course, the Haas team had no links at all with Caterham. So anything that any team connection that any affiliation that the previous 2 drivers had with Caterham, it would have no bearing on Haas, and it's going to be the same with this new 11th team. This is going to have no links at all with Manna, so that's something mainly that Wilson and Martinez want to keep an eye on. And I did say, obviously, earlier in the season, they obviously want to try and impress if they can to see if they can try and secure a drive for next season, given that Manna aren't going to be there. But yeah, something that I think both Amelia and Rosetta will definitely be keen on watching this Sunday, I would think.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be very important for those 2.
Indeed so, as Gomez now then makes his way down the hill. He comes out of that 90-degree left-hander. He's up on his personal best, and we didn't quite see if he was keeping that up in the second sector, because we've now switched to Felix Sontag as Miklos Gal is coming into the pits this lap and was about to overtake Griffiths, but that's that. Maybe he'll be hoping he can get out in clear air next time by, as his teammate is coming up to some traffic himself now. One of the Alfa Romeos he's approaching. Franco Gamba at the moment, currently in 8th position, so far 7th and 8th for the 2 Red Bulls in this session. But of course, this is only the practice session. Qualifying is coming later on. As meantime, Kirishima De Rosa gets up into 11th position. This could be a track maybe where McLaren could struggle, of course, because we know that the Renault isn't the best engine, and nor is the Ferrari for that. In fact, whoa, that was close there between Roberto Gamba and one of the McLarens. In fact, they got pretty close for comfort going.
It's Gamba and the Willows. Yeah.
Oh, with Joseph Willows, in fact, probably wanting to have a sneak peek of his old team again. But Ferrari will be hoping that a disaster doesn't happen like they did last season, of course, where Willows and Chung nearly kind of had a falling out after that race where Willows kind of put Chung in an uncompromised position at turn 2 to the point where Chung crashed, and she was obviously competing for the win in that race. So obviously Ferrari haven't got the pace perhaps to try and go for a win unless some miracle happens like we've seen at China and Germany. But yeah, that's obviously something Ferrari will be keen to hopefully not replicate this season.
Yes, indeed. Their targets pretty much get points at this point of time.
Indeed so, especially so far, as it seems they are currently in an early fight with McLaren in the Constructors' Championship at this point in time, although both of them are starting to catch up to the likes of AlphaTauri, but I think it might be a bit of a reach to try and get close to Renault and Racing Point unless those two teams start to drop off a cliff in these next few races to the point where all of those midfield teams start to really close up on each other in that battle for third. We'll have to wait and see on that, unless Red Bull end up slipping behind and it ends up being a big fight for second. Who knows, really? But anyway, back to the action. We're now riding on board with Armar Khan now. Then as Videri improves, but still remains at 20th position as we look now at Amelia Wilson. And so far not an improvement, probably just gathering mileage for the team as Gomez goes up into 13th position. So kind of an opposite of two ends there for the two Alfa Romeos so far in this session. And of course, with the sign-ups happening next Sunday, of course, it will mean that very soon we will be seeing the team news returning very soon. And of course, the new layout of the team news, of course, which was revealed at the end of last season. Again, I didn't get killed by the dynamite, so don't worry. Yeah, that's that really. It's Armar Khan now that makes his way towards the double left-hander. And he'll now make his way down towards this 90-degree, well, near 90-degree left-hander, I should say, really, because it's kind of a weird profile on the entrance to that corner, really. And he's way off his personal best. In fact, exactly 0.555. Certain cigarette brand, I believe that is. As Armar Khan now then makes his way down the straight. Who remembers the classic 555 livery from the rallying days, and even briefly in Formula 1 when BAR tried to do the two different liveries in 1999 before the FIA intervened, and even that 555 livery that was used during the free practice session in 2004 because they were allowed to do that with a third car back then. Yeah, remembers those quite lovely liveries, it's fair to say. Felix Sontag now then making his way down the pit straight, and he doesn't improve, remains in P18 for the moment in this session as Sontag makes his way through into turn 1 there. Before making his way into turn 2 now then. And Sontag, I think the fact that he's currently down in last in the Drivers' Championship is not really reflective of his pace so far this season, although it's fair to say that at Monaco, Williams will want to forget that race entirely, given that both of them crashed out, especially Sontag, who suffered that heavy crash at Mirabeau. Thankfully, he was okay from that accident, of course, not to say that there are injury systems in this, because there aren't. I mean, you only have to look at what Victor Bobo did, or even Finley Stratton to see why it's not a thing anymore. But it's not anything to disrespectful to Victor. It's just how the OC was back then. So that's that really. As Carr now then makes his way towards the double left-hander. And he's coming back into the pits this lap. I've only just realised that, so maybe want to put on a fresh set of boots on to try and see if he can try and get to the top of the timing sheet before the end. Which is currently being topped by Jake Galloway, of course, the man who won at the Chinese Grand Prix, of course, in unexpected fashion. Laura saying bring back the PowerPoint. No. My
Uploading.
computer is fine. The computer is fine, and unfortunately, the computer I used for the PowerPoint, well, let's put it this way, it doesn't like recording or streaming anymore. It's the same one that uses streaming, of course. Maybe it could work on the Mac, but seeing as the Mac works now, there's not really any point to it. So, sorry to disappoint you there. Sadly, my name is not George Russell. So, although I have seen some memes flying around saying that Mercedes' launch that will happen on the 18th of February could be some massive PowerPoint presentation presented by George Russell. Could you imagine? I mean, that's how he got the Williams drive in the first place. So that's probably how he got the Mercedes drive, to be honest. He made a big PowerPoint presentation as to why he's better than Bottas, which if Yui was in the room, he would probably throw a computer at him. So, although he did throw a keyboard out of a balcony, let's not forget about that at Christmas. So, no, in fact, it was New Year's, wasn't it? So,
Oh no.
yeah, so anyway, as Kirby now makes it towards final 2 spots, as Gal, meanwhile, gets up into 3rd position, so pushes the Mercedes outside the top 3. As Willows, meanwhile, gets up into 8th place in the McLaren, getting above his teammates so far. Of course, Willows coming off some momentum after finally scoring points in Monaco after what has been a tricky season for Willows. And I'm not going to ask Ra's opinion on him because I know he's going to say one particular word. So I'm going to move on from that.
I won't. It's actually a good thing. It's the one-stop masterclass.
While Lopez has now gone to the top of the timing sheets now, so the Mercedes gets back to the top. 500 quicker than Galloway. I was about to mention there that Roberto Gamba has gone up into 11th to get himself right behind his teammate Laura Chung. And Felix Sontag now then making his way towards the final turn. And coming down the straight. As Sontag now then across the line. He is up on his personal best. Can he get a little bit higher than 18th? Let's see. The German crosses the line, and no, he does improve though, but remains in 18th position. Not by much he improves by. Still taking a little bit of a chunk between himself and Kirby at this point in time. And so far the top 2 separated by just under 600ths of a second. Armar Carr has gone back out onto the racetrack, so we'll have to wait and see what he does on the fresher hard tyres. And so now into turn 3 goes Felix Sontag, and using a tad bit of curb on the outside. Now, obviously, if you missed the GP2 race, you would know that at that corner, there was a particular pile-up that happened there, which involves Zorbach and I believe it was Farina, which then led to a concertina, in fact, and involved Rahul Patel, who you may have noticed earlier on in the session, was referring to the fact that his AI could have been in the hospital for that. But yeah, it was a bit of a pile-up. Will we see that in the top class? I mean, we haven't seen any pile-ups at that corner from what I remember. I mean, actually, no, that is a lie. We have, but it wasn't caused by an accident. It was actually caused by driver error, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, maybe we could, maybe we won't. We'll have to wait and see, of course. I do remember, though, back in 2016 for the top classes, Lopez improves a bit further to go on to a 1 minute 37.178. At this particular corner, Volker, in fact, there was a collision at this corner, which caused a bit of a pile-up. Which had Joseph Willows involved, and which was actually caused by, I remember who it was actually who caused the crash. I've actually completely forgotten who it was. In fact, was he? No, it wasn't DeRosa. It was somebody else. That was another season, I think. DeRosa clipped me. So, oh, it was Volker, I think, that had the pile up. It was a Ferrari that was involved. It was either me or Florian. I'm not sure. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, that was something in the first ever season as Franco Gamba moves up into 8th position, gets himself above Joseph Willows at the moment in this session. As a few more cars just make their way out onto the racetrack, one of them being a Manor, of course. I believe that might be Amelia Wilson, as it looks like the Tatiana Calderon helmet, who in real life, of course, we know that Tatiana Calderon will be making her IndyCar debut this year with AJ Foyt. So it'd be interesting to see how she does as well. She's only doing the road courses though. I believe. Don't know if they're having anybody else do the ovals in her place, aka the Indy 500. Who knows? But anyway, Felix Sontag now that makes his way towards turns 5 and 6, I believe that was, as the Red Bull, they're getting stuck behind some more traffic. Red Bull, fair to say, they've never been lucky when it comes to traffic in the OC, and it seems the same is happening so far in practice to both Gamba and Gal so far. That, of course, being Gamba, because you can see Gal on the top left is in the pits at the moment. Just under 10 minutes left in this session. This is what the leaderboard currently looks like. Franco Lopez currently top, with Jake Galloway in second, George Roque in third, followed by Miklos Gal fourth. Armar in fifth. Is makes a bit of a well, it was I thought it was a mistake, but it's in fact contact, as Raj just mentioned there, with Daniel Fraser. Let's have a look at this replay. Was it similar to the Byrne Martinez collision? Let's see. So Gamba gets position, and a bit clumsy there from Gamba, it's fair to say, chopping across Daniel Fraser. So yeah, that's not really clever there from Roberto Gamba, so I don't believe that Daniel Fraser will be particularly happy with that one. But as I was saying, Miklos Gal fourth, well, in fact that's changed now because Carr goes up into first, so let's try that again. Rewind myself. Franco Lopez currently top, with Jake Galloway in second, Armar in third, George Roque in fourth, then Miklos Gal in fifth, followed by Roland Motrin in sixth, Evan Byrne is in 7th, followed by Franco Gamba in 8th, Joseph Willows in 9th, then it's Laura Chung in 10th, Roberto Gamba 11th, David Kupok in 12th, followed by Kirishima DeRosa in 13th, Chris Chatfield 14th, Gabriel Gomez in 15th, Daniel Fraser 16th, Dudu Kirby 17th, then it is Felix Sontag 18th, Rosetta Martinez in 19th, Andre Vaderi in 20th, Jamie Griffiths in 21st, and Amelia Wilson in 22nd position. And as I was speaking there, Byrne goes up into 6th position, so he slightly improves there to get himself in front of Roland Motrin as David Kupok trying to find his way through on the manor in front there, and so far getting held up by the manor. I believe that is Rosetta Martinez, because we believe that Sontag's behind Wilson at this point in time, and it is Martinez. Kupok now trying to get by on Martinez down the straight, and that should be a cleaner move, unlike what we saw from Roberto Gamba and Daniel Fraser a little bit earlier on, as Franco Gamba there just making a little bit of an error going through into the entrance of turn 5 there, but it seems that he's now cleared the traffic, so but that mistake won't help him in trying to improve, and but now he'll get a clear track in front. He'll hope to have an improvement on the next lap. He's currently in 8th position as he makes his way out of the castle section of the racetrack. Of course, as Chung meanwhile improves but remains in 10th position. Franco Gamba, of course, so far has been in the bad end when it comes to strategy calls, it's fair to say, from Red Bull.
Gallo went close to the wall.
And yeah, indeed, very close, right on the ragged edge, it's fair to say, for Jake Galloway there. And so yeah, getting quite close to the wall, probably pushing hard to try and see if he can get to the top of the timing sheets. But yeah, for Franco Gamba, who wants to forget Monaco after a pretty bad strategy call to the point where he ended up finishing behind his own cousin Roberto Gamba, as Almar Khan meanwhile goes up into 2nd, making it a Mercedes 1-2, so 300 of a second now split the two Mercedes drivers. And Franco Gamba, I mean, he has been teasing a little bit as to what he might do for next season. I mean, he has kind of hinted that he could potentially leave Red Bull next season, although he is still kind of yet to make his mind up. I mean, we'll kind of get an indication of what he wants to do when the sign-ups open. But yeah, there has been kind of that rumour, and then of course you've got rumours about Laura Chung as well, perhaps. Some early silly season gossip. Could you potentially see Franco maybe leaving Raw? Do you think that Franco might decide to try and stay for next season?
I think he could try and stay. I don't really see him leaving, but then again, you never know what happens. Luck could go either way.
Indeed so. Meanwhile, Roland Motrin improves to go up into 6th position. Of course, Racing Point will want to forget Monaco straight away. They had the pit blunder, which saw them double stack and hold up the Haas of Daniel Fraser at the same time. And then, of course, you had Roke struggling to make any sort of recovery after that, and then you had Roland Motrin crashing into the wall at Raskas. Not a great day in the office for Racing Point. It meant they lost a little bit of touch to Red Bull in that battle for 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship, and now they want to make amends here at Baku. Given that this is a straight line speed track and we know how quick the Mercedes is down the straight, maybe this could be a good chance for them to try and get up close to the front in qualifying. And speaking of a Racing Point, they managed to get by, that is George Rogue, in fact, getting by on Rosetta Martinez, who's coming into the pits this lap. So maybe we could see Racing Point doing well in qualifying. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Now through out of turns 5 and 6 now then. And Martinez, of course, coming into the pits as well, with just over 6 minutes to go in this practice session. And now Martinez will approach the castle section, and he'll now make his way towards the right and left-hander. Of course, that section obviously memed a couple of seasons ago when Franco Gamba had his what was it? Something went wrong in his car. Might have been a transmission failure, if I'm not mistaken. That went wrong in his car, and it caused him to spin around and hit the wall in Romain Grosjean fashion. And it was ironic because he was in a number 8 Haas on that day. So, yeah, obviously Franco Gamba then got some more bad luck at that castle section a season later when he ended up crashing into Rosetta Martinez. Probably getting a little bit impatient, who knows really. But he'll be hoping that doesn't happen again this season, but who knows really what this race can throw about. Usually Baku produces quite an exciting race for the OC, and usually quite a short one as well, it's fair to say, because it is 51 laps, but it does, despite the length, it does go around quite quickly. It's a little bit like Suzuka in a way when it comes to how quick the race usually ends. It's usually quite a quick one, it's fair to say. And oh, that's if it's dry, that is. When it's wet, it does kind of obviously extend that time a little bit. But when it's dry, usually the race tends to go quite a little bit quick due to the amount of laps we've got, which is 51 laps. As Gomez, meanwhile, is currently holding up the Mercedes of Amar Khan at this point. And so I don't think Amar Khan's going to be that impressed with the Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo. In fact, it won't really matter because that Mercedes is going into the pits as Garma gets it all a little bit loose there, going through into that left-hander. And let's see, was it oversteer or a lock-up? And it was just, no, it looked like maybe some understeer on the exit of the corner there that he was trying to halfway correct. But, yeah, not really ideal at the moment for Franco Gamba, as he'll now make his way towards final 2 turns through the left and then into the right-hander. He'll now make his way down the straight, and he'll finish his lap, which of course which will not be an improvement, I don't think, unless Gamba has been able to summon a miracle in this last sector, which I highly doubt. And no, 7/10 off, and it didn't really help with that mistake he made either at the well, I would say the 4th to last corner really, but well, the last. Say last proper corner, because it's the last one where you need the brakes really, because the remaining few are just flat out before the first corner. Jake Galloway coming back into the pit so far in a decent practice session, being up in 3rd position, and Galloway continuing what has been so far a very impressive rookie season, Ra.
Yeah, indeed. Best out of the rookies at this moment of time. Looking good for him.
Especially given that he also won at China as well, which was unexpected. Of course, we all thought that Roland Mottram was going to win that race until traffic intervened. And Roland, whilst he has been able to end his podium drought, he is still yet to grab that brass ring when it comes to winning a race. Will that happen this season? Who knows? As Jay Galloway makes his way towards the double right-hander, flicking the car in before making his way towards the castle section. Now into the left. And up through the castle section, and now out of the castle section he goes, and he'll be heading back into the pits this lap. A few cars in the pits at the moment: Carr, Roke, Mottram, Willows, Martinez, Wilson and Griffiths, and they'll soon be joined by Galloway in a little bit. Whether any of those guys will go back out, I'll have to wait and see. I think in fact one of them went back out as I was talking there, but kind of missed who it was. Yeah, as Galloway now then goes around the left-hander, and we'll see him veer left into the pits once he comes out of these last 2 turns, and then after this little right-hand kink, you could say, before making his way to the pits. And obviously in the GP2 race, there was a little collision that went on between Kulizek and Chobot. Luckily, it didn't end in a crash, but yeah, it was very too close to call, it's fair to say, as somebody is going out on the racetrack. Just saw there, and it was the Mercedes of Amar Khan, so looking to try and see if he could maybe get to the top of the session just before the session comes to a close. There's going to be 1 flying lap. Same goes for that Manor that's just gone out of Rosetta Martinez, I believe. I believe it was the Nico Hulkenberg helmet, so I do believe it was him. Well, in fact, both Hasses are now going out on track, so it doesn't really matter. As Galloway now then being wheeled back in, I think that will be it for him in practice, so some decent running. The Renault team. Meantime, Gamba is up on his personal best, Roberto Gamba that is, as he'll now make his way down the pit straight now then, and Roberto Gamba will now come across the line, and across the line he will go. What sort of improvement will he make? He goes up to 7th, a big improvement there for the Italian, as the McLaren of De Rosa is currently behind him at the moment. I don't know if he's just started a lap or he hasn't been able to improve on that lap, I'm not 100% sure, but Gamba up into 7th place thanks to that lap, getting himself in front of his own cousin, in fact, is Roberto Gamba.
So we have 4 Hasses. We have 4 Hasses. You called Manners Hasses.
Huh?
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, I think you don't want to watch it, Nico, because you did have a good race, Nico, up until the point where you had a crash with Luca Farina, and that caused a pile-up at turn number 3. So, which is a shame, really, because it was looking very promising for you, to be honest, Nico. You were fighting for a podium until that happened. So, yeah, a bit of a shame there, really, what happened to you there, Nico. But anyway, some guys are finishing off as we're now counting down to the last minute of this practice session, as Dudu Kirby now then comes across the line. No improvement for him. Same for Miguel Ascal. They'll have 1 more lap as Bernie's up on his personal best. So let's see what the Irish driver can do. He'll now make his way down the pit straight. And now down the pit straight then we'll go Evan Byrne, as he will now come across the line. Let's see what sort of improvement. Can he get up close to his teammate Jake Galloway? Across the line he goes, and he does. He goes up to 4th, in fact. So 3-4 for the 2 Renault drivers. Clearly using the Ultra Drag setup to help them out a little bit on this track. Here comes Daniel Fraser. No improvement for him as Garber continues to improve on his lap now then with his Daniel Ricciardo helmet. And the pit straight he goes. And let's see, can he climb up a few more places? He's not that far from Roland Motrin, it's fair to say. So will Roberto Garber improve on this lap? Across the line he will go. And yes, he can. He goes up to 7th, gets in front of Motrin as Kirishima De Rosa goes back into the pits. Roke, meanwhile, doesn't look like he's on improvement, currently up in 5th position at this point in time. Roke is now going to cross the line in the racing point, and he does not improve. Laura Chung crosses the line, no improvement for her. Joseph Willows will get one more lap in before the session comes to a close. As Felix Sontag, can he be the last car to cross the line? So we get to 0, and no, he can't. No, he can't. Joseph Willows was the last to... Joseph Willows was the last to cross the line there then. So, just to bear in mind. So the checkered flag is now out. That signifies the end of the session. Gabriel Gomez across the line. He will go in the Alfa Romeo. No improvement. David Kupok in the Alfa Tauri. No improvement for him. Here comes his teammate Chris Chatfield. He is up on his personal best. Chatfield crosses the line and improves but remains in 12th position. Roland Motrin so far not on an improvement himself. The Hungarian driver is going to cross the line. And no improvement, remains in P8. Here comes Mikolas Gal, his fellow compatriot, currently in 6th position. So far, not on an improvement. Mikolas Gal now then is going to cross the line in the Red Bull and does not improve. Dudu Kirby doesn't improve either. Here comes Armar Carr. Doesn't look like he's going to dethrone Lopez of the top spot. Carr now then, the former king of Baku, crosses the line. No improvement for him. Amelia Wilson come across the line very soon, currently in 21st position. Is she going to remain in 21st? Yes, she is. Evan Byrne, no improvement for him, not even with a bit of tow he had. Videri doesn't improve. Here comes Martinez. He lost time in the last sector and doesn't improve. Fraser across the line, no improvement. Galloway just getting a mileage run in as Roberto Gama is trying to find some more time to improve in the Ferrari. So we're not quite done yet with improvements yet for Roberto Gamba, as the Ferrari driver now then will come across the line, and his session he ends up finishing in 6th. So another big improvement there as Roke is not looking like he's on an improvement. We're just waiting for Joseph Willows to cross the line to conclude this session. And Roke now then across the line goes the Racing Point driver, and he remains in 5th. Laura Chung crosses the line, remains in 11th. Joseph Willows cross the line. Can he improve on his 10th position? No, he can't. And that is the session done with Franco Lopez topping the session from Armar Carr in 2nd and Jake Galloway in 3rd. So what do you make of that session overall, Ra?
Yeah, was expecting the Mercs to be on top from this one, but it's only practice. But with the Redos 3rd and 4th, it's looking quite promising for them. But as I said again, it's only practice.
Absolutely right. Well, we're just going to take a brief break for a moment, guys, and then we'll come back with a fresh stream for qualifying. But in the meantime, I've been JDreamy97, he's been Ra, and we'll see you in just a little bit for the qualifying session. See you in a bit.